AITA for humiliating my daughter by treating her as she has been treating others. My tone isn't going to come off good in this post. I am extremely disappointed in my daughter ever since she has been at college. She commutes to campus. She used to be such a kind person, and now she has this higher and mighty attitude. Anytime someone asks for help, she will either be condescending, tell them it's not her issue, or straight up call them dumb. I have talked to her so many times, and it always results with her telling me she is an adult. One example is my son asked for help with an essay. He was learning MLA formatting and didn't understand it. She saw I was helping him and made comments about him not being the smartest. I shut it down, but damage done. He already has confidence issues with his grades, and she knows that. That resulted in argument. She is taking an art class. It's not going well for her. I can paint, and she asked for help. I told her everything that her has been saying to other people in the home. She started to get really upset when I made a comment about her not being smart. I finished with telling her, "This is how you make others feel when you do this to them." She is refusing to talk to me. My wife is pissed that I humiliated her and is calling me a dick. AITA for telling my wife it's her fault that our sons now hate and ignore their sister. My wife, 39F, and I, 44M, have 3 children, 2 boys, 15-14, and a girl, 12. While my wife is a great mom to all of our kids, she always had a special bond with our daughter. I wouldn't frame it as classic favoritism, but as a little bit more attention and love. The boys were always aware of this and teased their mom with it jokingly, but it was never a problem because she really is a great mom to them too. A few weeks ago, my 14-year-old, let's call him Jim, and our daughter, let's call her Anna, had a big fight and a screaming match. It turned out that Anna took Jim's AirPods to her dance class, forgot them there, and tried to lie about it. My wife intervened and apparently took Anna's side. I wasn't there, so I don't know. My older son Alex intervened on behalf of his brother and told his mom that she is unfair. My wife doubled down and told them to fuck off. Again, no idea. And that Anna is more important. My boys swear that she said that Anna is more important than them, while she swears that she said that Anna is more important than a pair of AirPods. Alex exploded and called his mom a took his brother and left. My wife called them for hours, but they didn't answer. In the end, she called me and I picked the boys up. The relationship between our boys and their sister has been dead after this. They don't talk to her, ignore her when she approaches them, and won't tolerate her presence. When she enters a room, they leave. Kitchen, for example. It is heartbreaking to watch. My wife tried to mend things and talk to them, but she gets aggressively ignored too. Yesterday, my wife had a breakdown and started to cry after we went to bed and said that home life has been hell for the last weeks. I had little sympathy and told her to suck it up because it's her fault. She called me an AH and cried even more. Ada? I know I am technically in the right here, but my wife is already devastated and remorseful. It is my job now to help her the relationship between girls and boys in our home. Edit. Anna had to buy her brother a new pair of AirPods. We gave her the money that was supposed to be for her birthday. She will get nothing for her birthday in April. AITA for saying I'll take on more responsibility so my parents can adopt my special needs cousin, but only until I'm 18 and then I'll be done? My parents have 4 kids. I'm 16 Mero, the oldest, and next is my brother Harry, 13 Mem, then my sister Jazz, 11F, and then my youngest sister is Amy, 8F. Harry and Jazz have autism. Neither can talk clearly, but mumbling is the best they have learned, and they were delayed developmentally, so walking came later for them as well. Harry and Jazz are in a special needs school, a private one, because my parents wanted the best chance for them, and this place was highly recommended. Both my parents work longer hours for this, and because of the longer hours they work and the aftercare, they're paying for Harry and Jazz. It has meant I needed to take on some more responsibility, and especially with Amy. I take care of her every day after school until our parents come home. That includes cooking and deep cleaning the kitchen after I finish making food for us, so my parents can cook for Jazz and Harry, and not risk any issues with the food, because both have highly sensitive taste buds and they have limited diets. When Harry and Jazz go for respite or all-day therapies, my parents make time for Amy and just Amy. They don't want her to feel left behind or like she doesn't matter. I do not get the same attention. I never did, even when I was younger and things were bad. Amy was always the kid they prioritized time with when they had it, and I had expectations put on me that I would do my best to give her a great childhood. They put a lot of that responsibility for that on my shoulders by the time I was just 11. I'm also more responsible for keeping the house clean because of my parents' working hours. Sometimes I'm the only one who cleans in a week, and I used to try and get Amy to help out with some light stuff, and my parents told me to let her enjoy her childhood. Recently, my uncle and aunt died, and my cousin, who also has autism, ended up in foster care. My parents wanted to take him, but they told me they would need me to step up and do more for us to make it work. They even told me how bad my cousin has it in foster care right now. Dad told me he has not found stability since his parents died several weeks ago. So what do they want? Me to take over all the cooking, for me to do the grocery shopping, but not with Amy, of course, and they want me to start adjusting to having 3 kids, 2 with special needs, at time. 1 kid at a time to their therapies and appointments. It pissed me off, because they also asked me to babysit all 3 special needs kids, so they can make a bit more time for Amy, because it will be hardest on her. I was pissed off, so I said, sure, I'll do it. But only until I'm 18, and then I'll be done and they will never see me again. My parents told me my anger was unwarranted and everyone has to make sacrifices when a family is dealing with this many special needs kids. AITA? AITA for arguing back when my parents were disappointed I didn't name my daughter after my late aunt. My aunt died 2 weeks before I got pregnant. When I announced the expectations were on me to name my daughter Elizabeth, after my aunt, if she were a daughter. My aunt had Down syndrome and was so beloved and special to our family. I adored her too. But I never wanted to name my daughter Elizabeth. I had my own reasons from not liking the name Elizabeth, and my husband feels the same, to us wanting to give our child their own name that is not a family name. I told my family during my pregnancy that if my baby was a girl, she would not be named Elizabeth, and I refused to communicate about it afterward. My daughter was born 3 weeks ago, and my family were furious when we announced her name, and it wasn't Elizabeth. They believed I would change my mind between when I told them and the birth. Mostly due to the fact I was aware they didn't approve. They came over on Saturday and told me I was wrong and asked how Elizabeth would feel if she knew I hadn't wanted to name my daughter after her. They told me it was an unkind thing to do and that my daughter would have been blessed to be named after her special great-aunt. I told them talking like that is one of the reasons I wouldn't want that. I said my daughter deserves her own name, and not one where she will always be told she should feel blessed or grateful to be named after my aunt. They told me I was being ridiculous and I was making excuses. I told them they were right, and I didn't need to make any to them because it was none of their business. They wouldn't let up, so I told them to go and not to reach out unless they can accept my daughter is not Elizabeth. My family told me arguing with them was not the way to conduct myself. They argued first, but, I did argue back, so AITA,